Hello, Caroline. It's Miss Strother, and here you are with your very first screencast of your essay. At least I hope it's your first. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you get to hear how I grade things and how I come up with the score that you have at the end. I'm going to start actually by taking your essay and putting it into Word. And I have already gone through. I like your heading, it's beautiful. You have a nice title. Could be a little more unique. You're pretty creative, so I hope you will come up with something a little bit more interesting. And I have gone through and I can already see one of the things you need to do is put these commas on the inside of the quotation marks. And also, I don't know if we talked about this, but Masks is actually an excerpt from a longer novel called, or not novel, but her autobiography, which is called Autobiography of a Face. And so because it is short and it's not actually her autobiography, you need to put it into quotation marks. So you have a few of those to do, but you can also use the find function, which I'm not sure if you have ever used this before, but you could do this and you do find and replace. And you could do it like this. Let's see if it will do it without, it's not going to do it without the italics, but you could always do this. Because maybe you only need that once. There we go. So use that. Use those two things. You can highlight sections and push Control I to make them italics or not. And if you push Control F, you can get over here to this navigation bar and you can push the drop down menu and do replace and end up with a find and replace. Let's see. What else can I see immediately is that in some areas you are not doing your parenthetical in-text citations correctly. So parenthetical meaning that it's in parentheses and it is in your text and you are citing a work. So go ahead and fix those ones, that one and this one. You want to take out this period. The period gets shoved to the other side of the parentheses. And I like that you bolded that. I'm going to allow it. Okay. So now that I've gone through and just sort of looked at any major glowing things, I'm going to go ahead and read your essay out loud. Okay. How do stories explain human beings' universal human experiences? People all over the world and from different time periods go through similar experiences. Books and articles describe these experiences. All books and articles describe the universal human experiences. Maybe you want to talk about how we learn about other people's experiences through reading books and articles, or maybe by engaging with literature, by which you would include then TV shows and movies and other kinds of media that we also use, Twitter, Facebook, just the internet in general. It would all be included if you use the word literature. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote an article for Esquire magazine. Maybe I would say, okay, that's fine. 20 things boys can do to become men to try to guide adolescent boys on growing up. How about as they grow up? As they grow up, or during their process of growing up, something like that. Lucy Greeley, author of her autobiography, Masks, had cancer when she was young and died as a young adult. Masks is about her rough childhood and what she learned along the way. The Circuit is a short story written by Francisco Jimenez about an immigrant boy struggling in America. These pieces of literature, lowercase, are all different, but they share common human experiences. Stories explain human beings' universal experiences, especially in The Circuit, Masks, and 20 Things Boys Can Do to Become Men. Very nice. Very nice. Very clear introduction. It's good. I can give you your 4 points for that. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay, the circuit is about a boy who recently immigrated from Mexico. Now, as a topic sentence, this isn't quite effective, especially because you are not going to be spending your entire paragraph talking about his recent immigration from Mexico. So you want to have a topic sentence that in some way includes part of your argument. This part right here is your argument. Stories explain human beings' universal human experiences. Or you could say it without the human. You could just say stories explain human beings' universal experiences, especially in the circuit. Or the circuit explains, and you could use a specific, the universal human experience of, and put that in the blank. And that would be a fabulous topic sentence. Because then you are specific. You're specific, but not too specific. This is basically too specific. His family lives in California, but moves a lot in search of work. Now you are in honors. I expect you to start working to find words other than a lot to describe things. I know it's common. You want to push yourself a little bit more in that area. Okay, his father, older brother, and him. He, interesting, work on farms. Let's make this just a little bit easier. He works with his father and older brother on farms, harvesting food for the plantation owners. Okay, in California, they're not plantations, they're farms. Just a distinction that I would like to make, if you wouldn't mind changing that. On one occasion, when the family was moving to, not sure what that's supposed to be, he came into the house and saw the boxes packed with their stuff. You could do a colon, or you could do a period, but the comma is not going to quite fit there. It's just too much of a soft break. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed thinking about how much I hated this move. Yoink. He dreads the move, as do many children. It is hard to leave somewhere where you feel comfortable living and working. After he moved to Fresno, he started school, which was another nerve-wracking experience. Nerve-wracking. When the bus stopped in front of the school, I felt very nervous. Okay, so let's talk about how this is a universal human experience. So we are focusing this particular essay on analysis and analyzing that and showing how your quote really truly proves your argument. So you've started. This is great. He dreads the move, as do many children, because it's hard to leave somewhere you feel comfortable living and working. Now you want to be just one more sentence, super explicit about how this is a universal human experience. And I'm not going to tell you how to do that. I know you will figure it out. But this is also a very clearly a universal human experience, that going to the first day of school, it's a source of anxiety. That's great, especially if they do not know anyone. He's gotten used to working in the fields alongside his family. I would say his elderly male family members. So he's really in a very specific environment. He isn't at school with other kids and enjoying being a kid. He is expected to work and to act like an adult, and he's always around men, and he's expected to be a man just like they are. So it's a pretty interesting distinction there. So you're really right there. Your analysis is good. I want you to add on just a little bit to make it a little bit more clear, a little bit more explicit. Okay. So to be alone at school is an extremely different environment for him. Try being a little more specific instead of different. Try being specific. I wished I were with Papa and Roberto picking cotton. I understand. He misses his family. The boy from the circuit experienced fear, homesickness, and nervousness. These are not unusual feelings. Everyone has undergone these things before. Try saying emotions or experiences to connect back to your argument instead of things. The circuit is a story people from around the world can connect, I would say connect with. Ooh. This should be self-consciousness. Okay, you are doing very well. You have seen what I did with your first body paragraph and where I want you to add in some more analysis. So I'm going to go ahead. I will read the rest of these, but because I only have about 4 more minutes, I'm going to go ahead and go down to your conclusion and talk through that. Okay, stories explain human beings' universal human experiences, especially in the circuit. Fix your comma. Masks, fix your comma. And 20 things boys can do to become men. Fix your period. The main character from the circuit has gone through a lot of struggles. I would work on that. He has felt fear, homesickness, and nervousness. Add on to that list, because that's the same list that you have up in your paragraph itself. But that was only for one of your pieces of evidence. So try to find something else from the other quotations that fits in there that would not be one of these 3 particular adjectives. Not adjectives. These are nouns. This is a story people can connect with. Also something that you said earlier, so try to add on to that. Can connect with because and explain why. Lucy Greeley gets teased and ridiculed, and her autobiography masks, and you could say her autobiographical piece, masks, really explains the pain she went through. Fix that too. Whoop. Bullying is a universal human experience. Everyone has been picked on before in their life. It is the sad truth. Oh. Stories are connectable. This is that one that you were asking me about, too, because the authors of them, how about if we say their authors, have gone through the same universal human experiences as people around the globe. Perhaps that is what makes stories so enjoyable. The fact that we can relate to them in some way. I love the way you ended that. That's beautiful. Keep that. Okay, let's find this. Maybe you want to say, relatable is a good word. We talked about that and you weren't excited about it, but relatable is a good word. You could use compelling because it's the kind of thing that people just sometimes can't look away, like they are compelled by stories and by the things they read in stories. Oh my. Maybe some people talk too about how stories are in our genes, that it is just a part of our makeup and who we are to love stories. So that is something else you could talk about if you wanted to right there at the very end. Anyway, you're writing well, and I'm going to go through the rest of your paragraphs and give you some points on those. And I really look forward to seeing just a little bit more analysis for your final exam project, final essay. But you're doing a fabulous job, and you should be proud of your work. All right.